secured, because I actually think both Labrov and Busio are the two best enchanter players or range support players that we have in our league right now. So I really want to see how they go head-to-head. Already seeing the Nautilus ban here coming out from KC does signal that they want to go for something like the Ashe Seraphine, especially combined with a Jarvan ban. Really puts a high emphasis on the Ashe Seraphine, Ashe Karma, anything of the sorts.
KC actually going to get rid of the Seraphine themselves. With the Bard ban from G2, they didn't want to have to first pick Seraphine, and you can first pick the Ashe, but then you get a Seraphine Tristana or something that can just be a lot more aggressive down towards that bottom lane as the picks into it. So KC taking that off the board can, of course, and this is something we don't talk about too often, but saving a pick for yourself for later in the Fearless, right? It's like, oh, well, we don't really like it currently with these bans, but would like it for game 2. So let's use our last ban on that Seraphine and then try and keep it for later on. They still get their hands on a Enchanter support in the form of the Karma, so they'll be very happy with the push they have got. Karma Kate, Karma Ez, both very strong duos.
Yeah, even Karma Ashe you can go,
True.
Karma Varus, Karma Jhin, like there's so many lanes with Karma, but that Karma is really the main power in those lanes, just because how much wave control she has early. She has great wave clear, great poke, and great extended trades. Now what she is weak to is just targeted lockdown, so that's why you see the Nautilus ban, even the Jarvan ban coming out just to allow Busio to really play the map freely. And already an Ezreal lock in here by Hansama did look great on that last time we played it, and I do think that is one of his best picks right now. Will be joined by the Nami, which is another fantastically strong bot lane. So really kind of what we expected. We expected to see range supports versus range supports in the bot lane, and a lot of high emphasis on laning phase. So now I want to see how KC responds. If you want to pick a strong laning AD carrier, I think the Varus would be a good option. Does have the flexibility potential into Canna. Canna has shown very well that is very proficient on these range top laners.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that top lane pick either. It could come out now, but then you're still giving up counter pick for G2, or later on in the draft. And you just say, okay, we'll hold it, we'll wait, we'll see what BB's going to pick. BB at the moment is very much looking towards those tanks, much better on the tanks than on other picks currently in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, BB has really went back to his roots, not roots even, but like he has really gone back to what has been working, which is the tanks. But I actually love this Pantheon pick by Yike. I think when you have a team with laners as strong as Yike has, I think a champion like Pantheon, like Nocturne, who can join the laners and put pressure on the map while being a fog of war, is such a boon for a team like KC. The fact that both Canna and Caliste and Busio can play aggressive, and the enemy has to kind of second guess if Pantheon is going to go and drop on their faces if they want to respond, I think is a very, very smart choice here by KC. As the Azir blind pick is being met by a LeBlanc, it seems like, insta-lock almost by Caps, and this is a Caps classic. He looked absolutely fantastic on it last time he played it, and I think he really wants to shut down the strong lanes of KC, because this is a very good matchup in the mid lane for LeBlanc.
Yeah, it gives you maneuverability around the soldiers, but also around the Emperor's Divide, and the ability to lock down the Azir through him shifting sands away from you is so powerful. You usually want to see it teamed up with a jungler that has a bit of CC themselves. A Vi is really good. You get the lockdown with the chains into a Vi Vault Breaker, cease and desist follow-up. It's great there. Pantheon would be the one that immediately jumps in my mind, but obviously that's already taken away by KC.
Yeah, so already Caitlyn banned by G2. I do assume we're going to see a bit more AD carry bans. I do wonder if they're actually going to ban the Jace, because now you're going into 4-5 and Canna is blind picking. Now if you want to blind pick a strong champion, Jace is by far and away the most dominant top lane blind pick right now, and I think taking that away from Canna on the blue side would severely weaken his blind pick. But does seem like maybe they're thinking about letting it go through, and maybe they have something planned into it. I know the Jace has been doing, the Sion has been doing really well over in the LCK into the Jace. Does kind of add up with what BB has been playing so far, so will be the Sivir ban coming out instead.
Yeah, I like these bans from G2. They mitigate the pressure that Caitlyn Karma can put in lane initially, but then they also get rid of some of the scaling threat of something like a Sivir. Sivir, we've already seen how strong she is when she gets to 3-4 items. Now you can get to 6. Like, she is so powerful in that AD carry role when you have a front-to-back team comp, which KC could quite easily manufacture here with the picking of a top-lane tank, right? Although Canna doesn't usually go towards the Scions, the Ornns, if you picked a Scion or an Ornn here and a Sivir, you're looking like a very strong team fighting composition.
I mean, he doesn't usually go to them, but with that Gwen ban, I'm starting to think maybe Canna is not going to blind pick a range up there. He's actually going to go for the tanks himself and kind of fight BB on his champions. I'm thinking probably going to be a Cassante or Scion blind for him, but right now, I'm more looking towards the jungle department here for SkewMond. Now, Shincho has been taken out. If you want to engage, Vi is a good option, but it will be the Skarner, who is one of the only good tank junglers on the patch. Now, if you pick a tank jungler and a tank top, and you have an Estral LeBlanc as your main carries, you are running a little bit low on damage. So I'm actually starting to believe that maybe we're seeing G2 kind of lean towards a carry top laner for Broken Blade with this Skarner pick on 4.
But where are you leaning? What are you looking? Is it something just a carry top laner in inverted commas like a Gnar? Is that where you're going? Is it like we have a bit of damage but also some extra survivability? That's kind of Broken Blade's wheelhouse. Or is he going to do something really wacky? Is it going to be a Warwick top? I mean, are we going to see Tahm Kench with Static Shiv Heartsteel? You know, is it going to be something truly left field?
I don't think we're seeing Tahm Kench with Static Shiv and Heartsteel. I think that's from your game's only medic, but I know Busio likes to hover the Vayne. I don't think it's going to be a Vayne. I think it's going to be a tank here coming out. And this gives Broken Blade so much flexibility. If he wants to play Camille, go ahead. If he wants to play Renekton, go ahead. If he wants to play the Gnar, go ahead. He can pick whatever champion he wants here because laning phase will be good. And if he's hovering the Kled and locking it in, I am very excited. Kled into Sion is a fantastic pick. You get so many free plays in lane. You have so much movement on the map. And I am thrilled to be able to cast my first Kled game with Broken Blade piloting it.
For anyone that doesn't know, Finn's nickname used to be Blomster Finn, and at that time he was a Kled one-trick. So this is, you have the best person driving the analysis of top lane in this game that you could ever have, apart from perhaps Broken Blade and Canna themselves.
I will say Broken Blade on the LEC PGL 2 weeks ago, he did say I was still the best Kled in Europe, so I want to take that.
Okay.
I take that dub. I need all of them I can get right now, but this matchup is really fun. I would love if we can track how the top lane goes early, because the level 1 will be crucial how you maneuver this lane. And I do like BB just locking in the Kled, not trading the Sion into another tank, because I think he can have a lot of agency on this pick. Also, with Jhin being there, there's not a lot of consistent damage, assuming Azir is not hitting him. So I really want to see what he can do with this pick, because this is just great excitement coming out ahead here.
Yeah, I love both drafts. I look at Casey and I'm like, this is quintessential team fight. This is quintessential front to back. The Jhin obviously not providing as much as something like a Sivir would do in this situation, but still gives you actually solid engage with the Curtain Call, and then you have the follow-up of the Azir DPS, the Karma buffing everyone up as they move in. On the other side, G2 have a little bit more pick in my estimations. The Kled running in, you've got the LeBlanc and the Skarner who can try and isolate a couple of members.
I mean, you can say pick, but you can also say that G2 actually has drafted a very vintage 1-3-1 comp.
True.
You have a really strong 3-man core with a Skarner, an Enchanter, and an Estral. They are very safe. And you have a Kled who will get pushed on side lane versus Sion, and you have a LeBlanc. You know Caps on LeBlanc, he rarely leaves the side lane and he makes magic happen there. So I assume G2 is going to really try to play the side lanes coming into post 20 minutes moving forwards. Early game still, these lanes have to play out normally, and I expect the LeBlanc to have pushed into the Azir, as we see it's Yike's 300th game here in the LEC.
Congratulations to Yike, he's been around for a long time. Originally joining with G2 and then going over to KC over the last couple of years. Here starting on the top side of his jungle on this Pantheon. I will say as well, the Karma pick here for Busio, not the best in terms of LEC win rate, not his individual win rate, but 0-7 over its last 7 games played in the European League. But kyeahoo on his Azir is 11-1 across his last 12 games on that pick. So
that's a little bit scary. Busio did in fact just miss a Mantra Q in this matchup, which usually is not a good sign. So G2 seems to be having control of this lane right now. I think Hansama will be able to get level 2 here first if he Mystic Shots the wave and just keeps his passive up. But would love to see I would love to see what happens top right now, because I do think Kled is stacking up a big free wave push and will just try to get a Demolish proc every single time he crashes a big wave onto the Sion. What you do as Kled versus Sion is not really kill him. It's quite hard to kill a Sion, but what you can do is control the wave and then whack his tower down with those 4 empowered out attacks with attack speed, with the Demolish proc, who actually scales up your bonus health, which Kled has, not your total health actually, and Kled has the highest base health total in the game on his mount. Falls off his bike a little bit, but I don't think he cares.
I don't blame some fans, though, if they're a little bit worried about Broken Blade playing a non-tank in the top lane. We talked about it a little bit in draft. On tanks, 6-1 this split. On other picks, 4-3. Has been struggling to have as much impact. And it's also intriguing because He dies less isolated on tanks, that's expected, right? Dies more when he's on a different type of pick. But he falls further behind in gold when he's not on a tank as well. When he's on a tank, he just seems much more survivable in the lane and much better at mitigating his early losses.
Yeah, I mean, it could be due to mindset as well. I think when you're playing a tank in a bad matchup, your mindset is just survive, go even, don't die, don't mess up. Whereas when you're playing the carry, it's a little bit more volatile, it's a little bit harder to say what's the correct play, so I think he hasn't really found the style he wants on these carries so far, but the Kled is a big comfort pick for him, and it's nice to see return to it, as we have a full clear from both junglers.
Yeah, SkewMond actually recalling on his Krugs. He's going to path up towards that top side crab. Yike has been spotted here, likely just putting a ward on the Razor Beaks, looking for that respawn. SkewMond is waiting in the wings just in case Yike goes for the full play.
Yeah, but Yike is one item down here. Yike goes in, actually gets hit by the wall here by SkewMond. He doesn't have the stats to take this fight.
Tyndall Gem on SkewMond doing a lot of work. Yike trying to get away with that Aegis of Soul empowered E, but the chasing from SkewMond, flash away from Yike focus as well, won't be enough to get through the upheaval. And SkewMond on the board early here as Yike took a fight that he just couldn't win. Caps looking for more as kyeahoo will dash across the wall. Caps flashes with the roots and gets the Azir flash out as well.
And it's a nice trade flash there from Caps, but actually Yike thought that SkewMond was on the top crab. Yeah. They both did vertical full clears, where SkewMond would end up top side, and he actually would end up bot side, so he thought he had a free little timing there to go for the Raptors, but SkewMond says, no, I will not go for the crab, I'm going to recall, get my item, and then contest you, because I think you're not going to let me take my Raptors for free. Great read by SkewMond, and great punish by him, and a little bit greedy here from Yike.
Yeah, that vision, behind a little bit. The vision around the mid lane, spotting Yike looking for this gank was vital. This is good as well. Ishtal's impact already coming out from SkewMond means the shield vault from Yike doesn't get the stun.
Yeah, it's a little bit questionable for Yike to jump in there. I don't think he pressed tab and realized that SkewMond already had bought items, and he's just way stronger than him in terms of raw combat stats, so was not your fight to take there. Probably just had to get out, but still. Big kill on the board here for G2, and now no flash on mid lane. I think Caps traded his flash there with kyeahoo to try to set up for another gank here by SkewMond, who will have a lot of free time. BB trading onto Canna. Canna is getting quite low, but you see this again. BB is gonna slow push waves and hit the tower. Slow push waves, hit the tower. He's not trying to kill Canna, but he will generate a nice little gold lead by default by following this play pattern.
And at what point do you expect Broken Blade to use the fact that he can get that push to actually move around the map? Because you were talking about it, it's like get plates, then move. When are we actually going to see the get plates and then move part of it?
I mean, there's a little window in this matchup where Sion just becomes unkillable, and that's when BB has his first item, which will be the Titanic Hydra, and then Sion has his first item, will be, looks like it's going to be a Sunfire Cape. And then because you don't have any, like, that much armor penetration in your kit here as the Kled, you can't really go through that shield that Sion has. So that's where you kind of just one-shot away with Titanic Hydra and then start moving. But before Canna has his first item, I still think BB will have enough pressure in the 1v1 to kind of just siphon as much gold as he can from those towers with those plates.
We'll keep an eye on him as he does jump in. Look at that bear trap on a rope, pull back, we'll get it onto Canna. Has the Tiamat as well for the auto attack resets, and it's just going to force Canna out here. It's grasp into grasp, so both of them just trying to get as many stacks as they can. But with Canna having just teleported back, actually looks like, oh, Canna's just going for vision. I was wondering if he'd go for a recall there and then come back into the lane anyway, because he does have enough time with the wave being so far away to ult back into that wave.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would think that Conquer makes more sense against tanks as Kled, just because you can just take those extended fights. But the fact that Sion has such a high HP pool and will be buying a lot of armor makes Grasp do a lot of damage, because it's percentage magic damage, and it really gives you that extra damage you need to kind of chip through him. So great awareness by Broken Blade, and I think his lane is in a fantastic spot right now. He's going to have full wave control with his Tiamat. As we pan down to bot lane, it's going to be SkewMond starting this dragon, and I don't think Casey can do anything about it. I think Yike is really on the back foot right now, and Caps is just denying this blue buff.
Exactly, like Yike comes across, Broken Blade already moves from top side. Caps should just be able to jump out of this, lands the chains, distorts over the wall. Blue buff's going to do a little bit of work, so he has to use the Mimic. He's fine, he'll be able to walk out, as Yike doesn't have his flash either. Broken Blade chips away at Canna, still mounted up. Bear trap on a rope, now dismounts, gets the pocket pistol out, and gives Canna both barrels, as he autos him a couple of times.
Actually give him 0 barrels.
Yeah, he pocket pistol backwards. Okay, I was hoping you wouldn't pick up on that one, okay. Also, a pistol probably only has 1 barrel if we're going to be really pedantic about it, Finn. I messed up in many different ways.
We're pedantic, all right? We're pedantic, all right.
I messed up in many different ways.
This matchup is so liberating, because you can play as aggressive as you want, because Sion can really never punish you if you're dismounted. So dismounting as Kled is very, very free and safe because you just need 5 auto attacks and 1 fully loaded barrel with the Q pocket pistol to get back on your bicycle. So you see BB here playing very comfortably, very aggressively here. Canna will most likely base here and then use that unstoppable onslaught to get back to lane. But there will still be a Kled plate going over to Broken Blade.
Crystalline Overgrowth helping Broken Blade chunk out that tower much quicker as well. Walks around, autos the tower a couple of times, uses that hyper. And with the Grand Staffel coming in towards the bottom side, Activism's going to land immediately. Focus was all out from Busio. He tried to heal up. True Shot Barrage as well, but Unsummer dies underneath the tower. Yike has to flash away. Curtain's open, and they might close on Labrov pretty sharpish. She gets out of the curtain call, but Caliste still has the autos and will find himself a double in a well-executed dive from KC.
And we talked about it in the Champions League Medic. It's going to be about this bot lane, and I love this tiny little window that KC found to punish. They knew SkewMond was in base, or out of the map at least, and they saw they didn't have that big of a wave, but they still could commit for this dive. They knew they had a damage, they knew they had what it takes, because this was the one window that Yike had where SkewMond could not respond. You see he's basing topside right now on the Gromp, and it's a very well executed dive by the KC bot lane.
Yeah, importantly, Busio taking aggro, but using the Mantrid Focus Resolve, because that heals him back up while he's using it, so could tank more auto attacks from more tower shots during that exchange, meaning that he was able to walk out. And then Yike only had to tank a single one to make sure that kill was solidified. Evens out the goal between the first 2 teams. And KC, who have often struggled in the early game, have managed to mitigate some of their losses here early on.
I just want to call out great laning phase so far by kyeahoo. I think it's really nullified this pressure that the Caps LeBlanc could have. Going very even right now, and I haven't really seen Caps be that threatening. I mean, it did kind of stop that blue invade by Yike, but did end up having to base because of it, so... solid laning phase so far by kyeahoo, and looking like a rock on this Azir, which has been such a powerful pick for him in the past.
Yeah, 11-1 on it this year. He's pretty confident. Has only lost to G2 in playoffs in LEC Versus. SkewMond still looking around the mid lane, but kyeahoo's flash is back up, so that potential of that fight is a lot harder for SkewMond to actually actualize, right? Like, Caps can flash follow with a root, but then you still have to worry about the Emperor's Divide, you have to worry about a flash from the Azir. There's so many options for kyeahoo when he has that summoner up compared to when it's down.
Yeah, and I want to try to set the stage a little bit of what might happen now in the future, because if you look at the bot lane, Busio and Caliste still both has their flashes. Meanwhile, Labrov has not a flash and no heal. So I imagine Yike, after his full kill now, is going to try to keep harnessing the pressure that Caliste and Busio has, because I think you need to. And they actually already went for the swap, because you saw how tough it was for Canna. Every single wave that Broken Blade had pushed in was just a plate, and that's just free gold standing there for him. So actually mismatching this, putting the Sion against the bot lane, will make it a little bit easier for Canna to scale up freely, and not giving as much gold to Broken Blade, but also just using your proactivity in the bot lane.
It definitely would. The problem for KC is that Hans Sommer has TP. So he pushed out the bot wave and then just TP's up towards top. He did lose a couple of minions, and Broken Blade will lose a couple of minions down towards the bottom lane as well.
Medic, okay?
No, but Broken Blade now has teleport. So if it swaps, you just TP Broken Blade
thought
now.
Because they both were basing, I thought they would actually re-swap back here, but it looks like you're just going to open back up top. Because I don't think they actually want to contest these grubs. I think still SkewMond is so powerful right now with his item spike, so I would kind of give it to G2 in terms of a fight, especially in the river here with Caps moving.
Yeah, I'd say the only difference is that kyeahoo does have his rocket belt right now, and Caps doesn't have a completed item. So if you did want to fight, you have a little bit more mobility on the Azir, but rocket belt not the largest damage spike as a first item, rather much more used for getting out of impales, getting out of the chains, that sort of thing later on in the game. And there will be 3 grubs going over to G2 to meet up with the fact they already got the Dragon. Tidal Wave coming out, Impale as well. Onto the Grand Staffel out of Yike. Aegis Assault will keep him alive for now, but SkewMond's still on the chase, and those vibrations! Enough from the passive for SkewMond to get the kill. KC picked this fight, and were immediately beat down.
A little bit trigger happy, I think, by KC, because they saw the grubs were taken and kind of expected SkewMond to then go into the bot side, but he actually stayed around to cover his bot lane, expecting his gang to come out. So really good reader by SkewMond, being at the right place at the right time. As we said, sure, the bot lane by KC is stronger, but SkewMond with the item spike is just so tanky and is a great bouncer in these fights to kind of deny any attempt of trying to go on Labrov that KC threw at him.
Yeah, KC has a bit of vision behind the river, right? And towards where the blue buff is, and perhaps they were saying, well, we don't see Skarner there, he's probably backed, as you say. Instead, he stayed around, the curtains come up. I mean, this is not going to do too much. This is just about stopping the bases more than anything, I feel. You can see BB now with the grubs down, he's TPing up towards the top side. Karna doesn't have teleport to match, so he's already had to recall, and the recalls will come out from both the bot sides, and they'll work their way down towards that bottom lane. Unstoppable Onslaught used. It's a little bit like the old school Rek'Sai farm alarm, where it's like, yeah, I'm charging into the wave, I'll clear it out, that's all well and good. But Broken Blade was still able to get those minions underneath the tower in time.
Still, 3 grubs and a Kledding and Scion is heaven. Now he's gonna get those plates so much faster. You're gonna see this gold lead. Right now the gold lead is around 300. A timid, small gold lead, but it's gonna become loud and boisterous in a bit because he's just gonna start pushing and getting more and more gold from these plates. Canna will be farming and he will be safe, but still, if BB can use this gold lead to kind of snowball the map, then now we're talking about having some serious impact on the Kled. But I want to give a little bit of criticism towards Casey because I thought they could just keep those lanes bots and kind of keep putting pressure on every single wave because Labrov had no flash. And SkewMond kind of needs to be there every single wave or Yike kills him. So they kind of went top, allowed the bot lane to go top as well where the objective is, and kind of allowed SkewMond to just take those grubs without the risk of a cross map. So
yeah, and the net gain for them is pretty minimal, right? We've just seen both the bot laners hit their role quest, and there's only about a 300-400 gold difference. Like, Caliste has 2 more kills. That should be bigger than that right now. Like, Hans Sommer's been able to eke back some of his gold, now has the Trinity Force finished on the Ezreal as well, which is such a large spike in terms of effective power. Yike was looking for something here, maybe making sure that, again, SkewMond wasn't waiting around after taking that dragon, but not going to be able to find anything. And, ooh, good stop.
But you see, it's a little bit too late by Yike. You kind of had to make this play 3 minutes ago because that's when you had your window. That's when Labrov didn't have flash. And now you see he's really trying to look for it because he realizes he can't really attack the Kled because they don't have damage. He can just charge out of there. They can't really gank the LeBlanc because she just has too much mobility. The only real play for Yike is that bot lane. And you kind of gave that window away by rotating your entire team up to top lane before. So we're going to have to see how he navigates it now.
Okay, hit me with your knowledge back here, Finn. We're now moving Kled towards bottom lane, LeBlanc towards top lane, and the Ezreal and the Nami into mid. G2 have initiated this new laning setup. Why and how do you feel about it?
I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about before. I think this G2's comp is inherently a great 1-3-1 comp. I want to talk about it in the bot lane. They're fine, they're not fighting. So they just want to have Hans Sama on mid wave so he can just push it easily. Because Jhin kind of needs Karma next to him to push. Meanwhile, Hans Sama can play with just the threat of Labrov and SkewMond in the fog of war. And he can just get pushed by himself. So you're going to see now, SkewMond is taking a topside vision with this mid push that G2 is securing. And when they have a lot of vision for Hans Sama, you're kind of going to see Labrov move away from the mid lane and just let him play there by himself because he is so self-sufficient. Because the real plays are happening on side lanes.
Yike's looking for Caps here. That's the Mimic Distortion out from Caps. SkewMond is here though, and Yike won't be able to find anything. Uses the Aegis Assault just to dodge the damage. Caps jumps back in. kyeahoo has been doing a really good job of chipping away at Caps. You said it in the laning phase, it's continued into the top laning phase, I guess, for both these mid laners. kyeahoo is scaling up well, has gone Rocket Belt first item, which does reduce your 2-item spike on the Azir, but still very solid. Has done a good job of quelling any threat that Caps could have presented in the early game.
Speaking of good job, SkewMond has acquired almost a 1k gold lead so far on Yike, and it all kind of came down from that first play where Yike was going for the Raptors, but it just allows right now G2 to, wherever SkewMond is, they are willing to take any fight just because how much stronger the Skarner is compared to Pantheon in a team fight, because Pantheon doesn't have an ult.
Has to flash away from the tidal wave. SkewMond on the chase. Ishtar's impact doesn't find his connection, but Caps jumps forward. The Emperor's Divide gets the knockback, but Caps dashes it with a distortion. Yike's going to burn Caps. Busio here to try and catch out SkewMond. As we look for the card and call as well, impale wide from Skew, but Caps flashes in and Skew secures the kill. Hans Sommer here to join the Barney. Busio slowed up, and Hans Sommer with a mystic shot, and Labrov's damage will be enough. G2 clap KC on the top side.
And KC, you're paying the price of your prior mistakes right now. You are not in a position to take even numbered fights. You need to fight with your Pantheon ult. That is where your strengths lie. You have that semi-global, but you cannot take fights straight into the Skarner. He's way too strong for you to deal with right now. Still, as we look at his fight, I thought the Skarner missed a lot of his things.
He did.
He saved his ult, he missed his little dashy thing, and he couldn't really find any real player onto Yike. You saw he was kind of scared of Yike sidestepping it, going into the bush. But it does not matter in the end. He just has too many stats, and now Caps is completely
Chains
unleashed.
go down. Labrov flashes great shield from Busio just in time to save his AD carry, but it's a flash burn from Busio. It's the barrier burn from Caliste. And you can see, even though Caps hasn't had a whale of a time in the mid 1v1, he now almost has 1,000 gold lead off that topside play.
And that's all Caps needs on LeBlanc. Caps just need that one first kill. He has 4 Dark Steel stacks. And you see now the BB silent pressure is starting to amount as well. He already got this tower in a 1v1 straight. You see Caps being unleashed on this map, and suddenly KC has a few too many fires to put out, and they only have 1 Pantheon ult.
And that's the thing, KC have been often bleeding in the early game. They have often fallen behind, and they've got back into the game through good map movements, through Busio being in the right position at the right time a lot of the times. But this feels much grander than a, you know, we're a little bit behind in the early game. This is 2 Drakes, 3 Grubs, no towers to 2, 4,000 gold lead, an unkillable Skarner as well. Like, who is going to kill him? It's not a Leandri's Nash's Tooth Azir. You have a Pantheon with a spear and a pickaxe, and you can't mine those rocks. You've got a Jhin who's got Hex Optics. There's just not enough damage from KC to get through this Protoplasm Harness.
Absolutely. I think for KC right now, you really want to get your 2nd to 3rd item spike on your carries, and then Canna will have scaled up to become kind of a similar frontline to Skarner. Sure. But now for the next 5 to 10 minutes, G2 can do whatever they want, and they already are securing themselves soul points. So KC, your clock is ticking down rapidly, and you need to make a play soon, because if you just let G2 set up this dragon one more time, you will give over soul.
And you said 5 to 10 minutes. In 5 minutes is that soul.
Yeah.
Right. At some point you got to take the fight. Infinity Edge for Caliste, almost there. For kyeahoo, he is getting up towards the Nash's Tooth, but the damage is lacking to say the least. And against an Ocean Soul, it's not going to be a pretty picture. It's going to be one of those ones like I drew with crayons as a child. It's just like, hey guys, look, I can draw around my hand. It's like your mother and father, hey, great job.
Very impressive.
That goes up on the fridge.
That's fantastic. So VV actually opted in now for the Black Cleaver instead of the Hullbreaker that I thought he might buy. So he actually wants to put a little bit more pressure on the Sign on the side lane, I mean. And with this Black Cleaver, suddenly the Sign is not that tanky anymore. Yep. If given enough time, the Kled will win that all 1 versus 1. So we'll keep seeing BB use his silent pressure. You see, it's 0-0-0, but it's still up 1k gold. 1.1k gold straight from solo laning, and that is just those tower plays that are so powerful and so valuable that he's been chipping down on.
Sundisk down here from kyeahoo as Broken Blade goes in with the charge. Should be able to walk away if he wants to, and he's going to do exactly that. Decimating Smash from Canna doesn't find his mark. The Sundisk now falls, and SkewMond's on the flank. Onslaught going out from the Scion as he just tries to retreat. Caps jumps in. A Mantrid Inspire, but kyeahoo falls lower, and a Great Impale will find its mark. G2. They just chase you down.
And the BB's going top. He says, oh, you have no TP on Sign. Azir is dead. I'm going to get myself a free little tower after put down the Herald bot lane right now. You see how fast they're playing the map? They get 1 pick and instantly translate that into 2 side lane tier 2s.
Yeah. It's setting up the side lanes as well. Caps was up there, getting that wave stacked up, then moves down, walks all the way across to join his team, and BB just has the time to TP up towards the top side. And I think we've proven it's not a single-pronged spear anymore for G2. Broken Blade and SkewMond can be on that front line, and KC just don't have the damage to break them in twain.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Lee said be like water, and I feel like G2 right now are playing the map so fluidly. Sure. I feel like they are just the map. They know exactly where to be, exactly where to push their buttons, and they know they are stronger, and they're using that so well. A lot of the times we see teams be 2, 3, 4k gold ahead, but they're so scared. They don't know how to then progress the map. But I think G2 has had an exceptional snowball with these side lane pressures that they've been using immaculately.
I very much agree with you. DJ Khaled said another one, and in 2 minutes 20 there's an Ocean Drake available for G2. Would be their 2nd of the game and soul for them.
The 2 greatest philosophers,
yeah,
Bruce
exactly.
Lee and DJ Khaled right now being referenced on the LEC stream here in Madrid, as G2 have their eyes on this Baron, but I don't think they want to start it because they know in 2 minutes that juicy little Dragon Soul is spawning, and I don't think KC right now, if you look at their items, I don't think they have the stats to stop them.
Yeah, you've got a 2-item Jhin, but Jhin is not known for his tank killing capabilities in the slightest. Azir still not at 2 items, and after an even laning phase is now 1.4k gold in the hole. It's going to be paying off that interest for a while, to say the least. For G2, they run the Rift. There is not a single iota of red vision past their base. Like they have one ward next to the red buff.
They have some Jin traps in there.
Sorry, there's 2 Jin traps in the lane. Now they put the far side alteration down in the pit, but it's immediately caught out by the oracles.
You see, they have 3 blue orbs right now. I think they realize this is the only way they're gonna get vision, so they need to use those blue trinkets to the best of their ability. And it's gonna be dire as now the clock is ticking down, as we said. 1 minute on the Ocean Drake. It is spawning, and I don't think you can contest this, KC. But is there a side angle? Do you have any other option than to pray you win a random 5v5? I don't think so, Medic.
I mean, you said it in draft, right? Like, G2's composition plays so well through the 1-3-1, not only because they can apply pressure, but also because they have escape tools, right? If you're looking at KC, it's like, okay, well, we can jump on someone with Grand Starfall, we can overnumber a lane, right? If you go on the LeBlanc, she dashes out. If you go on the Ezreal, he dashes out. If you go on the Skada, he tanks you for a year and a half. And if you go on Broken Blade, he can tank you for a while, but he can also just joust and then charge away.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many escape tools for G2, and for KC, so little way to catch purchase actually onto the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, usually I would say there's always a chance of AD carry dying on a mid-wave, but I think even Hansama won't find a way to die on his mid-wave as
you've cursed
right
him
now
dude.
KC has kind of secured themselves a little bit of posture here. They are first in the river, and I think they have done a good job to set themselves up for a position where they actually could contest this dragon. You see Cap steeping in now, and they're gonna have to play this slow. You see BB is on the flank in the bot side, and I think the fight could break out any minute right now.
Busio the target here for Broken Blade, cleanse away from it. Caliste on the backline, just deleted! He lost that joust in a heartbeat, and it's a Knight's Tale for Broken Blade. Yahoo gonna fall as well, and G2 are just ripping them to shreds. 3 for naught in a heartbeat as Canna tries to get away, but there's no escaping the claws of SkewMond. G2 are teaching KC a lesson.
They're teaching them how to play the map, they're teaching them how to play macro and 1-3-1 all at the same time. You see, that's why we pick Kled. If you want to force a fight, you just can. You just press the R button and you go in. You saw that KC had a good position, but due to the combat stats, Broken Blade knew if a fight breaks out, we are just way stronger. So he doesn't need a fantastic engage, he just needs an engage. And he found it for G2, and that will be the Ocean Soul picked up as well by SkewMond and Caps.
A 9,000 gold lead, a Soul, 3 grubs, 5 turrets to 2 at the 22-minute mark. Here, BB is just like, I'm just going to assassinate someone, jumps on Caliste.
I mean, it's a 1-3-1 comp, but still BB and Caps just completely played that like they were Canna and Talon. They just got onto Caliste and just one-shot him. That auto-attack reset with the Titanic Hydra does so much damage by Kled that it scales up his HP total. And with Caps finding that initial chunk was an easy pickup for him. And then it's just a clean fight, clean up. You saw that Canna was really tanky, but it doesn't really matter when your carries are dead, sadly.
Kill the Scion last is an apt phrase for how you deal with comps like this, and G2 just enacted it to perfection. Double blue orbs blown in the Baron pit there by KC as they look to try and get a small sliver of vision, but they just don't manage to find it. Another one goes down. Hansama's going to turn his attentions over towards this fight with a tidal wave coming out. The clones gonna block him with Kled on the back like Caliste. Just can't win that battle. The arena is Broken Blades today. Yahoo dashes away. The True Shot Barrage almost takes him out, but it's a defensive Emperor's Divide once again from the KC mid.
I mean, it's just such a clean play. G2 start Baron, and the moment KC show an interest in contesting it, Broken Blade going ta-ta-ta-ta and just goes onto Caliste, who is completely isolated in the back down his role, trying to find any semblance of vision in the Baron pit. It's an easy pickup now, and this Baron will also be an easy pickup unless Yike can find another miracle steal.
Camps goes in, can't quite catch onto Yike, but SkewMond and Hansama turn their attentions towards the KC jungler instead of the Baron. Now, with the True Shot Barrage going down, Yike falls to a 3rd HP. No way in for him, really. It's got to be a Grand Starfall. An Aqua Prism down onto Canna as well. Yike, like he's ulting in here.
They're so cautious, see, they're stopping the damage. They don't want to give it a 50-50 chance. They're turning on Canna.
Starfall comes in, they dive onto Canna, and the Baron begins to regenerate, and Yike's in the pit, but that Baron is too healthy for him to deal with it. And now Caps can just chase his old teammate down. It's a double for Caps as G2 play the dance around the Baron perfectly.
I mean, the respect by G2 to stop hitting the Baron for 10 seconds just because they know how good Yike are in the smite steals is so beautiful to see. They did what Fnatic could not, and they did not allow a single chance for a comeback play by KC here. As we see this again, you see Caliste standing and completely isolated. He's just ulting in the face of a vicious Kledmeister that is Broken Blade, and he doesn't have any Pede, he doesn't have any backup. Canna and kyeahoo has already left him, and this is just why G2 started the Baron. It was not to get the Baron, it was to bait the play.
It's also where G2 leave their vision before they look towards the fight. They have a control ward in the middle of mid lane and one around the side towards KC's blue buff. And it's like, that's the ideal path for a Kled to take to get onto an ulting Jhin, to get onto the back line. It is really heads-up play from G2 so far. And it feels a little bit like we are just singing G2's praises, but I must remind you all, we are, 100%. I must remind you all, like KC is 6-0.
Yeah.
KC have been dominating this season. They've beaten Vitality, they've taken clean sweeps against a lot of teams, and for G2, who were struggling at the start of the season to come in and show this performance in Game 1, it is not being close. From minute 2, minute 3, when that fight started at the Razorbeaks, it has been entirely in G2's control, and you have to give a huge amount of credit to SkewMond in particular for that. He has run the map. As KC are forced back into their base, and with the TPs coming out, I just don't think they can defend.
No, I mean, SkewMond really has been the bouncer this game. He's let nothing go past him. He's been so strong, as you said. I think that play on the top side was really the main one that solidified the game as he now goes in. Will flash out, but this just will be an easy game finish for G2. They're trying to chase a little bit of extra kills, a little bit of extra KDA for their fantasy stats, but it will be the Nexus falling in the favor of G2 as they draw first blood in the series.
Just an absolute whitewash. An absolute, like, you could have rained off this game and said G2 won it like this and it would have been exactly the same. G2 in a game that really cements their place near the top of the table, absolutely dismantle KC. And not doing too well is never a motivating factor.
I mean, it's also about confidence, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think KC has kind of had a hype train going all season right now with a 6-0 start, and I think maybe the hype train has stopped at the first station right now. That is this G2 best of 3, because it seems like they finally met their match as we are into draft fully. We do see the same bans as KC did Game 1 with the Nautilus and Jarvan, still kind of trying to set up themselves to play these Enchanter range supports. Don't really want to deal with Nautilus, don't really want to deal with a Jarvan. So
you just can't ban Seraphine now. If you want an Enchanter, that's who you've got left, dude. Yeah. You've got Seraphine, Melio. Those are your two options. Nico falls in this weird, like, she's an engaged support, but she's ranged.
Yunara,
you know?
Lulu. There's been
Lulu,
some Sorakas in our league. I think if you want to play Enchanters, you can.
Yeah.
You can always force them if you dig that deep in your pool. It will be a Nivea ban, kind of setting themselves up for an early rise, I would assume, unless Labrov has been drinking the Kool-Aid in solo queue and been spamming that stuff support, which is entirely possible.
It's possible, but unlikely. I'm going to put that one into the ether over there. Okay. Varus is the final ban from G2. They don't want Canna getting his hands on anything too easy. Ash is going to be the pick. G2 obviously would have read that this would be either Ash Seraphine, so likely to see them either pick up Yunara Lulu or look for one of those two.
Also, Caitlyn Bard has been quite good into the Ash Seraphine.
Okay.
I think Vitality plays a lot of Caitlyn Bard into Ash Seraphine. I think also Ansam has had 1 or 2 Caitlyn games this split, so does seem in his wheelhouse. I know he likes to play the lane, dominant AD carries, and Labrov on Bard has been a growing playmaker for G2. Yeah. I think his Bard has really grown into a good player, playmaking player.
He's a playmaking player.
He's a show-making, playmaking maker, but it will be the Bard lock in here for Labrov. So I do like this early 1-2 from G2. Once again, not conceding any bot lane prior. They know that the enemy team wants to draft strong bot lanes, and they are matching them in that regard.
And so they did that entirely in Game 1 as well. We didn't see any lead really come out of Caliste Busio, even after they got that tower dive. Like, they got 2 kills on the Jhin, and then they weren't really able to extend that lead past 400-500 gold. Hansama eked it back, obviously helped by the fact that the rest of his team was doing so well. But there is the rise from the Anivia ban we were talking about earlier. Ash Seraphine, this is much more KC when you look at it so far.
It's very KC and also very telegraphed. You ban the Jarvan and the Nautilus for the Ash Seraphine, and you ban the Anivia for the rise. So G2 knew this was coming, and I want to assume that they have something planned into this rise pick, because usually you don't see it getting handed over for free, and looks like it might be an Annie lock-in for Caps, which has a lot of CC, but it's not really good into the Rise 1v1. But what she does have is great setup for a skirmish-heavy jungler to come and take a little visit to the mid lane and maybe pick up a free kill or 2 on the Rise.
So we're looking at things like Vi, Xin Zhao, Nocturne if you really want.
Potentially. I think these are all very good shoutouts. New SkewMond, he does like to play a lot of champions, so might have something else in the tank. Now will be the Jace ban, and I assume this is because the Sign is out of the pool after game 1, and that is the main tank answer into the Jace, unless you want to go for something funky, which I think is a clever ban by G2.
G2, I'm wondering if they do need to go for a tank top, right? If you get enough damage from jungle, you can just tank, you play an Ornn, right? And then Ornn Annie has incredible potential later on in the game. Caitlyn there to put traps down alongside it. You can also look for some damage towards that top lane. Yasuo ban here from KC really implies they're looking towards the Gnar.
Really does signal the Gnar heavily. So this is the question now, G2. Do you have other answers into the Gnar, or are you just going to take it out of the rotation? Because you can play tanks into Gnar. It's not very fun, but you can potentially just like pick a tank, play Cassante, suffer all laning phase and go somewhat even. Not something I would recommend.
How does Shen do into Gnar?
Shen is horrible into Gnar.
Okay.
Every single time he wants to taunt on you, you just jump away and then you run him down with the boomerang. So it's historically one of the best Gnar counters we have ever seen. I do think if you want to play a tank into Gnar, something that we haven't seen so much yet is a good old Malphite.
Sure.
Have good poke on the Gnar, and the moment he goes mini, you can just threaten Unstoppable Force all in and take either his life or a really big chunk. So
and then you have a low mobility AD carry, a low mobility mid laner, and a low mobility support. Like you have the only problem with a Malphite here is if you ult and you don't catch the Seraphine, she ults on top of you and it goes through your entire team, right? So a little bit of a threat. Vayne, the final ban from KC. Nocturne taken away by G2.
So you could take the Gnar here if you want yourself.
You go jungle, no?
Yeah, I mean, but like if you think that fact that the Yasuo, Vayne, Varus are all out, Jace out as well, you could in theory take the Gnar here on 4 if you're willing to take like the Renekton match. I mean, I don't know what Canna will play into the Gnar, probably. Actually, I don't know, but will actually be the Gnar lock in here from BB. So I think that's a clever move. You saw the Vayne ban, you saw the Yasuo ban, Jace is out, Sign is out, Rumble is out, so you just take the Gnar yourself here. Rooster had a great showing on the Akali into Gnar. I think Canna would also be the person to pull it off.
Irelia.
Irelia here?
Irelia for Canna.
I mean, I would like it.
Yeah.
I think Akali is more his type. I think we had this conversation every single time a top laner is born and there's coin flips. Either you're playing range champions.
AP assassin or AD like damage
exactly.
ruler, I guess,
so they're gonna think a little bit more about it and lock in the Xinqiao in the meanwhile, which makes perfect sense. Together with the Rise is a great frontline with the Ashe Seraphine. Like Xinqiao can just go in, sweep around him, become invulnerable to damage, and then just have a Seraphine ult coming behind him and supporting him. So it's a tried and true combo.
Crescent Guard does so much work in these sorts of situations, especially into things like the Annie, who do just want to get that CC down and then like really burst you out. Aurora is the pick into the Gnar top side.
It's a hard matchup for Gnar early, but I think once it gets Phage and Merc threats, this game, this Gnar could be a massive issue. Look at the team comp of KC. I think they got caught a little bit off guard by this Gnar on 4 because they now have Rise, Aurora, Seraphine, and Ashe. Now I think we're gonna see a lot of Merc threats on the side of G2 here, itemizing against all that CC. So it's gonna be about can G2 and BB harness this early weakness of the Gnar and kind of get him to a safe spot, because when Gnar gets Trinity Force and Mercs, he's in a really good spot against Aurora as the Olaf lock-in comes in for SkewMond. And we were talking about skirmish-heavy junglers now. That man loves skirmishing.
You have enough CC from the rest of your comp that your goal is just to run down the Ashe. Run down whoever you can get on top of. Obviously, you can ignore the Encore as well with your Ragnarok. And when you have the Annie there to set up the initial CC, all you need to do is land an Undertow afterwards. And then the Rise is either flashing away in mid lane or he's dead.
I mean, he will die. Olaf runs at him, and depends how fast you can proc your Storm Raider search right now. Before it was a bit easier with the Phase Rush. You could just do 3 spells, run away with that slow resistance.
Is it Storm Raiders only now?
I assume he's gonna go Storm Raiders and Rise. I think there's no other real keystone for him to take unless you want to go for like a spell book, I guess, with Ghost. But yeah, you're gonna see Storm Raiders and Rise most likely. And I mean, if he can't get that initial burst onto Olaf to get that little burst of movement speed, it might suffer, but I think he will have enough damage. It won't really be an issue for him. It's going to be a bigger issue for the Ashe Seraphine, because Olaf just runs straight through them, straight into the backline. And if there's an Annie on the flank or a Gnar on the flank, it's a very hard situation to live through if you're an Ashe. That much is for certain.
Yes. The problem for SkewMond is if he doesn't get ahead, he does die pretty quickly when he runs in, right? Like, there's enough damage on the enemy team. There's a Xinqiao as well to separate you from your own bodyguards, from your own teammates. It becomes pretty hard for you to actually get that damage down. And alongside that, there's this kind of the balancing act that has to be struck generally between these two team comps. It's like, if I Tibbers first, is that just going to get met by an arrow? if I Crescent Guard first, is that going to get matched by a Ragnarok? If I Tempered Fate first, the Bardo, is that going to get matched by an Encore as soon as they come out of it? There's this ebb and flow that really... Sometimes I think that the team that goes first here, if they don't burst someone down, might actually just be losing. As we see the Ghost coming out from Caliste and the heal from Busio, heal from Hans Summer, as you say. Labrov down to a 3rd HP, and he's going to have to pop through those potions. We'll get level 2, and the Caretaker Shrine will help him a little bit, but not the best. Also bad for Caps in mid, as he left that lane for a while.
Caps wanted to move down here and actually secure the bot lane push for G2. But not only that, they kind of bait Labrov into taking a really bad trade, he was now late on mid wave as well. Will of course get the XP, but now kyeahoo having a lot of free reign in this lane. He does actually start to E on Annie. He procs it with the shield, which is quite funny. I've never seen that before.
You do it for trading patterns.
Yeah.
You just mold and shield in, you can walk further forward, and
if someone attacks you, they take damage. I'm going to be honest.
But he took Electrocute back from it, dude. It kind of works. Is that Deathfire Grasp?
They look the same to me.
I think it's Deathfire Grasp.
Deathfire's touch on the rise.
So not Grasp, yeah, Deathfire touch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also an old head medic. I do miss VFG, but I think that's the Deathfire's touch.
I'm pretty sure it's touch.
It is, yes, because the Storm Raiders looks like the old Rogue icon.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rogue. So kyeahoo is securing himself a lot of early push right now in this matchup. Will probably have very nice time. Does not have the TP though, so Caps can always kind of bail himself out with one recall, should he need it.
Yeah, also placed a ward down towards the bottom side of his lane just to make sure there wasn't a level 3 gank from SkewMond. Yike could look for a bit of an invade here on towards the red, but a ward out from SkewMond will spot the fact this is happening. And the problem for Yike is, well, his bot lane can't move. Busio's already hit, so he's going to have to go across and start up the Krugs instead. Now has to back off because there's a ward over the wall, and when becomes lightning, will dispel his downfall. Labrov there with a sweeper, though, will allow these Krugs to go over to his jungler, just as Busio tries to steal it with a beat drop.
I mean, we saw last game, it was actually G2 that had pushed in almost every single lane. This time it's Casey, and Yike now going for his invade is very well and proactively timed, because he actually now denies one of the buffs from Olaf. And suddenly, while Olaf does win the river all-in against Jinshao, I think without red buff, he might actually not do that anymore, just because how strong those raw combat stats are in a full all-in. So Yike will try to secure at least one crab here.
Yeah, who goes in for Caps? Beat drop as well. There's the high note, Busio. Comes towards mid lane, gets the kill. SkewMond looking for the chase here. kyeahoo holding on to his flash, and SkewMond won't land the second undertow.
I'm going to show this clip next time my supporters tell me in solo queue that they can't roam on Seraphine, because Busio obviously disagrees. Finds a fantastic roam, shuts down Caps, and this is a different KC altogether. They have so much early push in every single lane. Yike is using that push to invade. Busio is using that push to set up kyeahoo, and suddenly now it is G2 starting the game on the back foot. 500, 600 gold down now to start this game, so very well played by the KC bot side.
I'm sorry to break it to you like this, Finn, but your support in solo queue is not Busio.
Soon it might
and your top laner is not Canna. And I'm afraid, unfortunately, the roams don't work out this well usually in solo queue. Busio, the great move, does burn his flash, so is it a bit of a risk if he gets caught out by a Cosmic Binding, but already has that Ruby Crystal and the cloth boots for the extra movement speed here, making it much harder for Labrov to actually get his mitts on the enemy support.
See a little bit of trading in mid. See already a healthy goal lead being attained top, but that's a bad portal!
The magical journey! It's a journey to nowhere! Labrov killed off by Caliste. And the Ashe Seraphine combination coming up. Jumps once again as Caps has to flash away. kyeahoo's still holding on to his flash. SkewMond looking for the chase, and will find it with the reckless swing.
I swear when I see Caps play, I don't know if he's predicting or seeing all these little health bars happen in real time, as now it is Yike going on to Caps, and that was personal
SkewMond's
flash.
chasing though. Can he get in range for an undertow? I don't think so.
Ooh, I think he can, I think he can.
Yike doesn't have the movement speed from the Scuttle Crab. He's got his top laner moving down, misses the one becomes lightning. Undertow goes wide.
Oh, don't chase
SkewMond, doesn't really want to chase too much further. Look at the kill before that. Yike heals up though, and with the Q3, SkewMond healed up with the Caretaker Shrine won't be enough. Yike still low as his enemy jungler has fallen. Broken Blade comes across and picks up the kill and takes himself a buff out of it too. They'll chase onto Canna, Magical Journey. Canna backed in the right spot to just walk away.
Oh, it's a brawl in the mud, this game, Medic, okay? You see, I would love to break this pace down because there's so many things happening right now. But G2 actually fight back once, and BB getting that kill will do him so many favors in the laning phase, accelerating his Mercury Threads purchase now. But Caps is 0-2, starting this game on the back foot, and kyeahoo has been pushing in him deep. So it starts with this. kyeahoo almost finds this play on the Caps, but he baits it masterfully and just sets up an easy kill for SkewMond. And now you thought the play would end, but Yike sees Caps recalling a little bit too greedily and punishes with winds become lightning and then flash. And here SkewMond thinks he can land the undertow, but now when he misses the first one, I think he has to run out because Canna is coming. He misses another one, so well played by Yike, showing some fancy feats. Still, Labrov, due to dying, is actually here first. Yeah. If he didn't die bottom, he would not be here, and this play would look very differently, but sometimes that's how the game goes.
Yeah, gets across in time to help it out, but KC now with leads in every lane but jungle. Only SkewMond with a gold lead for G2. Caliste about 200 ahead, Canna the same towards that top lane. You said that Mercury Treads plus Phage would be the angle for Broken Blade. Well, he's close. He's already got those Merc Treads. Phage on its way. Is kyeahoo here is just going to Realm Warp out. And Labrov once again just moving away from that bot lane. Still level 3 on the Bard with how much he's been out on the map. Now level 4.
Just hit level 4 now, but now Hansama is left completely alone due to that rotation.
I know, cleanses away the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Meanwhile, on the top side, Broken Blade looks for the wall-up into the house, needs another 2 autos and doesn't get the second on the bot side. It's a high note and drops Hansama as Caliste and Busio very easily just dive that. Busio gets the second kill of the game.
This game is a very sharp contrast to game 1. That was a very slow early game. Not a lot of kills happening. Now there's fights in every single lane. KC punishes the Labrov roam to mid by just diving Hansama straight up. I guess he thought that Labrov thought that Hansama would not be able to get dove here on just one wave, but Caliste tips over to level 6, and with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow was just an easy pickup here. As Hansama tries to cleanse it and tries to kind of play under his tower. But you see how well KC are weaving the turret aggro. They actually wait for the tower acceleration damage to fall off, and then they re-engage. If they just kept committing to the dive in one turn, I don't think they have enough damage to kill Hansama before they die to the accelerated tower damage.
Very much agreed, and now KC are going to get the first straight of the game. They were unable to pick up one in game 1. The hot shot spots SkewMond as well. And KC with these pushing lanes have just been able to get advantages all over the map. A lot of it sitting in that bot side. A 1.2k total gold lead for Caliste and Busio right now. Busio already has his World Atlas upgraded, whereas Labrov is still waiting on his. It's a level 4 support to almost a level 6 on Busio.
I think Busio's just holding the level up timer here, and they might look for a flash ult. Because remember, Hansama has no cleanse.
High note. Not quite able to get close enough.
I think he just needs his Canna minion to level up to level 6, but Canna eats forward.
Broken Blade goes in with the Gnar, gets the stun against the wall, wall up there for the follow-up, chucks a house at his back. Yike is on his way across, BB needs to hit, this doesn't. Canna with a good fancy feat to dodge to the side. But yeah, Canna jumping forward there was a little bit brave. Baiting for Yike, you could say.
I think a little bit of a fat finger there by Canna. Did not intend to jump straight into the Mega Gnar, but you see BB this game looking very comfortable on the Gnar. It's the moment he gets that Mercs, the matchup just shifts because all Aurora's damage is so loaded into these skill shots. Yeah. And the moment you have fleet movement speed, you have Mercury Threads, and eventually a Phage as well, you can have round up another.
There's the encore follow-up. Busio with the beat drop, a magical journey there for Hansama, and he doesn't get out in time. Busio goes on a killing spree. He's picked up 3. That's one more than G2 in their entirety.
And he predicted the Bard portal with his double Q. So actually picks up Hansama while he thought he was taking the bus out of town. He ends up perishing in the portal that Labrov put down for him. What a beautiful predict by Busio. And his Seraphine is just something magical. This is not something you see from every Seraphine. He just looks so dominant already. 3, 0, and 1 on this pick.
That's the largest gold lead in the game on support too. Like, Busio absolutely popping off in this game.
This beautiful play that Busio pulls off. You see the arrow comes out and it looks quite easy. You see the CC chain, but here he sees the portal being taken and he picks up Hansama mid-journey. Oh my goodness gracious. That's a fighting top again, because why not?
Yeah, I think the thing for G2 now is you are quite far in the hole on the bottom side of the map. Like, yeah, Caps and kyeahoo are relatively even. 150 gold is is, you can sniff at that. Where it doesn't really matter. It's negligible. The top side is in their favor. Again, the difference between Broken Blade and Canna is negligible, but Broken Blade's in a position where he can actually fight back now. But you look at bot lane, and it's like KC are so gargantuanly far ahead that how do you mitigate this? How do you actually stop them from managing to have such a massive advantage? Yahoo here caught out with a magical journey. The chase comes in from SkewMond. Busio here to try and help out. Ace in the whole magical journey taken away, and as you say,
not home.
He took a one-way ticket trip to hell. Got there in the end, dude. I'm tripping over the words. He's taking a trip to the fountain.
I mean, you asked what G2 could do, and when everything else fails for G2, you look to Caps to kind of pull it all together. So they're trying to set him up by attacking Yahoo. Labrov has been roaming about this game, and this one finally pays its due dividends and secures a nice kill. But look at Busio's confidence. He's just stepping up with 1v2.
That's Flash and Mikhail's. Like, what are you going to do against him? Like, the only thing that CCs him now is a tempered fate. Apart from that, you have no recourse. You have no way of stopping this Seraphine from doing whatever she wants on the map. Does mean that she burns the heal and the Mikhail, so you get the summoners out at least. SkewMond wasted a little bit of time around there, but he's still got his Krugs up, so he can go and clear those out.
But look, Caliste forced Hansama cleanse once again with Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There's now 3 more minutes where Hansama cannot step up due to the risk of that CC chain combo by KC. So not a great catch there by Caliste will secure them so much pressure in the coming 3 minutes, as now maybe he's caught off guard here. You don't want to go into the jungle there, man.
Ghost, and he has Splash, but can he get away from the rampaging Olaf? The answer is a decided no. As SkewMond taking matters into his own hands. That's the only way you can CC him. A Cosmic Binding finds him still through the Flash. The Encore gets the double charm. A double beat drop for the double root as well, but with an ace in the hole here for the follow-up. Seraphine's song is sung!
Right is coming in as well.
Something!
It doesn't stop. Okay, it stops there. He decided not to take the Realm Warp there, but this is what G2 needs to do as there's another bounce. Gnar.
Canna will walk out of this one. It's going to hurt, just trying to harass him.
It's going to hurt a little bit. Wow. G2 looked dire on the map.
That's another good one. He's going to go mini.
Really playing his matchup well. Having Canna under his tower constantly. Super nice to see, but wow, that was a fever dream and a half, that play, because SkewMond just went across the entirety of KC's bot lane. He went from straight to finish in the world tour there, and he will be quite happy with that pickup. Now Olaf is a big threat.
And Hans was 800 gold behind Caliste, and now he's... Okay, now he's 500. Is that a cull just getting... Because he was 250 when I started my sentence. And I even checked the role quest. And I was like, it's even. But yeah, Caliste then does get 600 gold. But still, he's cut it by 200. He will be second Drake of the game for KC as well.
But that's the thing with the grubs, right? If you have one good play like that, suddenly the punish becomes so much larger. While they were diving tier 2, Hansama was just trucking away at their bot side tower with free grubs, with Caitlyn passive, just gaining an abnormal amount of gold. So a lot of solace for the G2 bot lane.
Do you think that got baited by Cashback? Because also AD carries run it now. We can't see the secondary tree for Ashe.
That is
true.
But
he did just get the Kraken Slayer.
I probably got a lot of extra gold there. Cashback is fantastic.
It's such a good... when you're building 6 completed items and you have Cashback, it's like, yes, please. Feed me, Boris. Yes. Take all of that gold back.
I think it's Boris's funds he gets back, I guess so.
I mean, he's the guy you're paying, right? Like, the thing is, Boris sells you all these magical items that aren't that magical because you can buy them again in the next game. They're not as unique as they seem, I'm going to say.
Also, there's multiple of them.
Probably mass-produced somewhere in Bilgewater. and then he gives them to you, and it's like, hey, give me all your money. I'll invest it in my minion mines as Temper Fate doesn't find Busio. SkewMond there for the chase as well. They're just trying to open Hansama up on the map. They're just trying to take this tower down, and they'll do exactly that. Hansama can get more gold into his pocket, as you say, with the 3 grubs. Takes this tower down pretty quickly. Not quite going to get it off this push, with Yike coming across and with the Realm Warp possibility from Yahoo. They want to back away. The Realm Warp not up right now. And you never know if G2 have tracked that timer perfectly. They do just back away as soon as Yahoo goes into the fog of war around mid.
I love how SkewMond is playing around his bot lane. You saw it game 1 as well, where Who's is acting as the bouncer. It goes a little bit wide here. It's actually kyeahoo is being called
binding into the stun. Yahoo able to walk away from the Tibbers though, and a Ragnarok comes out. The flash from Yike gets them knocked back onto the tower, and even with the Ragnarok, shot. You can't survive those. SkewMond taken out. Canna here as well, as you say. To secure that kill, Labrov has to flash, otherwise he will not see the light of day. The chasing from Kansas, Yikes oversteps. kyeahoo still going in. Tibbers trying to get in the way of the overload. The Room Prism finds him, and an auto's enough. Tibbers gets angry, but kyeahoo gets paid.
Oh, Yike was really cheeky there. He was trying to put a pink ward on the blast cone to deny Caps from taking it, but he's just like, wait, you wanna fight me? I'll fight you, bro. Yeah. Still, kyeahoo picks up the kill in the end, but nice run by Canna. I think really using the fact that he wants to impact the map a little bit more. Broken was just pushing the wave by himself, and he meanwhile moves down. So we watch this fight just a little bit. So it starts with the arrow going quite wide. kyeahoo actually steps up to try to bait Caps to walk back into the arrow. But it ends up him being having to flash out. And here I was really surprised that Yike moved in.
Oh, that flashes
Caps into his tower. But with Canna moving here from behind, he just knows he has the numbers. And he knows he has the follow-up damage with his boys there behind him. And this is where he puts down the pink ward. Caps calmly sidesteps, the wind becomes lightning, and just trade kills here. So volatile fighting is the name of the game medic. A lot of things happening so far, but still, SkewMond is really growing into a big threat. I think he's going for the ultimatum Hextech thingy.
Yes.
As his last
experimental hexplate, that's the one.
Experimental hexplate, that's the word.
Yeah.
All these new items, I can't keep track.
Cleanse away from arrow. Yeah, the Caliste is just sending him.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if I get the cleanse out, that's all well and good. If we get more, perfect. As Broken Blade tries to chase down Canna, it's about to go Mega Gnar. Canna has to flash away because the threat of a Gnar was too great.
Between Worlds was down there, so he couldn't really use that to escape or buffer the big Gnar coming out from DB, so...
Okay, Finn. Currently we sit 17 minutes into the game. Gold lead, 400 gold in totality between these two teams. Obviously SkewMond is skewing that very heavily towards the G2 side, whereas Caliste and Busio are the majority of the lead for KC as they perhaps look for a dive. They're not going to go for it. You've got 2 Drakes to 3 Grubs. If you were in this situation, what are you looking at? What are you saying, hey, we got another Dragon up in a minute's time. How are you setting up for the next couple of minutes of play?
I mean, I think for sure Hansama needs to be hovered by this Olaf Bard combo, because every single time Hansama is left alone on that mid wave, that is just a gaping hole of pressure that the G2 cannot really do anything with. So you need to make sure Olaf, after his clear, takes a stroll mid and kind of allows Hansama to push a wave or two. And now with the mid wave push, you can actually secure some vision. You see Labrov is putting a little bit of vision down, but I don't think this is going to be very permanent. I imagine Casey is going to clear this vision quite soon, because that dragon is spawning. And I would actually give the strength to G2 right now if a dragon fight would break out, just due to how strong SkewMond is. You see, he has 2 items now, and Casey's comp is very ill-equipped to deal with an Olaf running at their carries.
I get that.
You see Caps already hovering around there as well. Casey wants to push his mid and then walk in, but I don't think it's going to be that easy for them.
Canna gets a move from the bottom
BB
side. He jumps in.
though.
SkewMond, there's a TP from BB. Hansama on the backline has to flash away from the weirding. BB TP's in, ace the Mega Hansama. BB has the Mega, lands the wall up onto Yike. Mikhail cleanses it away, but with enough follow-up in the 10, but fake G2 find 1. Ragnarok out from the Olaf. Good cosmic binding. Labrov has the Mikhails himself out. Broken Blade getting absolutely rattled down, and Canna finds a double. A good cosmic binding from Labrov will keep him alive for now, but KC turn it around, take 3 out of the fight.
And I'm surprised Caps didn't find a good ult there, because it looked so good for G2. You find the initial pick onto Yike, and suddenly there's no jungle. You can just run back into the river, but when BB TP's in, they kind of feel compelled to fight. But an excellent disengage from KC kind of allows them to play. So look at his fight once again. Canna finds a good chunk and forces Hansama's flash. And BB TP's in Mega Gnar, which Casey did not expect. So here, SkewMond runs rampant, and this is where you have to back.
Caliste, dude.
You have to back now, because Caliste is free hitting. You don't have Olaf ult, you don't have Bard ult, and you don't have Gnar ult, and you have no more threats to kind of reach Caliste, and he is still super strong on this Ashe. So G2 overreaching a little bit after their cooldowns wore out. And this will be the soul point for Casey now coming into the next Dragon.
It will be. Caps, congratulations. 4,000 assists in the LEC. The 4th player in history to hit that milestone after Mickey, Hilly, and Yankos all managed to do it before him. 1 player we still see in the league, 1 who's become a co-streamer now. He's retired. And obviously Hilly as well, the mad scientist as he was known in his heyday.
I don't think anyone is breaking Hilly's death record, so I think he has that on lock.
It's locked down for the next millennium.
But you know, like, that's what you thought about Kadim in the NBA as well, and only break his points record, but then LeBron kind of did that. But I don't think we're going to see another Hilly coming anytime soon, as G2 is pushing a little bit of pressure here onto the top side here, wants to get this tower down. Labrov will use the magical journey to escape.
I'm just saying, if any pro team wants to hire me for the next year or so, I can break that record.
In a year?
Oh, 100%, man. You don't know how good, how well I can
think that would be breaking some sort of competitive integrity, Medic. I'm not sure if you want to break Hillisang's death record in a year.
I'll try my hardest, but these guys are that much better than I am.
I'm sure you would.
And Sjokz from Caliste. Mikhails was available here for Labrov, and he didn't preemptively use it. He dies for that mistake. And KC find their 12th. Now with Rift Tower being put down in the mid lane, SkewMond just looking to get the charge. And won't be able to do so. KC will take it down before he gets the charge of the turret. So no extra plates for G2. And
Caliste has had a monster game so far on this Ashe. Constant pressure over into the bot lane. Fantastic arrows back to back to back. And just in the last team fight, you saw what happens when he gets the off stack freely. Now,
Yike just on the chase here. Realmore coming out as well. This is the Ragnarok. It has to be burned because there's too many people surrounding him. He doesn't have pressure in any of his lanes. KC, and from minute one in this game, have done a really good job of punishing the fact that they have prio. At any moment, they can walk into your jungle. They stole that red early doors, and then since then, like, although SkewMond has been able to find ways back in, it's mostly been through playing in a lane rather than through pushing into the enemy jungle.
Absolutely. It really has been a very stark contrast to game one over KC. I think they have snowballed fantastically. It has been a very messy game from both sides, but it feels like KC always had a firm grip on the situation. They always knew what was going to happen, and they always planned for it accordingly. So we'll just now be Yike. Labrov is walking up here. He's quite alone, but he's barred. He'll probably be fine.
Should have the magical journey. SkewMond waiting around the corner, see if he can find anyone.
Still down though.
So SkewMond needs to get out here. Labrov unable to help him. A beat drop there, stun for the follow-up. SkewMond lands the undertow. Summer standing, waiting in the wings. Good cosmic binding, but not really too much Labrov can do in this situation. Has to be scared of kyeahoo. Baron an option for KC. But with 5 members still on the enemy team, they can't go for it. Mikhails onto Yike as the tippers came down for the stun. Does give a little bit of a heal, and Yike is able to use the blast cone to get himself out of that situation.
I mean, that's one of those plays where you feel really good. Because you walk into the enemy jungle, and you're pushing him out, and you're like, yeah, this is my jungle now. I own this stuff. You didn't get any camps.
Yeah, you also didn't get any vision. Stuck,
You kind of just wasted a minute of pressure just because you wanted to go in and flex your muscles onto the enemy jungler. So will still be a minute of solace here for G2. Everything is going to come down to the next dragon, though. Because let's take a little look at the flashes here. Caliste flash will be up. And if you look at G2, no one has really fought since that last dragon. So all flashes will be up and available for this coming dragon fight. Yeah. So big eyes on Caliste. Because if Caliste can free hit like it did last fight, I think there's 0% chance for G2 to actually win that fight. So they need to pay attention to him.
Big eyes on his inventory as well. Phantom Dancer, Kraken, and Hex Optics already complete for Caliste as they look to try and shut him down before the fight can start. Encore, out, cleanse from Summer in the chase. With the Ragnarok from SkewMond, big eyes on Caliste. G2 follow that mantra to a T. An ace in the hole means that Busio flashes away, but the flash undertow sends Seraphine to the depths. Meanwhile on the bottom side, Broken Blade dashes out of the 10 for Fate and still gets the kill onto Canna in a 2v1. The Gnar well and truly online now. And the DSL connection that KC seems to be playing with is intermittent. G2 take 4 off the map in a matter of seconds. And for KC, it's all falling apart.
And G2 pulled the map back from absolutely nothing. A great pick onto Caliste on mid. Just Sky opens the map completely widely. And it will also be a free dragon for them now. 4 plates on that bot lane tier 2. SkewMond will start the dragon, but I'm not sure if he can. Looks like everyone is moving out, but yeah, it will just be the dragon take here from G2. And
Arrow onto Caps,
many
shield.
mechanical plays happen in that fight. And I don't know how G2 does it, but you can never count them out in these situations.
We'll have another look at it from the mid lane play. SkewMond chasing in here. They have a control ward. KC know now, obviously, that SkewMond's there. And this encore is good, but you can't stop the Ragnarok, and Caliste has no flash to escape.
Yeah, and here, Busio actually walks up into the auto-attack range. And now Hansama says, my ult. And then as he flashes out, SkewMond says, oh, and my axe. And just collects him at the back end here as BB puts on an absolute show here. Jumps out of the Bard ult, picks up Canna, runs away, and as Yike goes in, flashes the Crescent Guard, allowing Caps to just come in and lock Yike down for an easy pickup. It's just hands gap. A fantastic display of individual micro by G2 pulls them back into this game.
G2 fans in the audience very happy about that one, and now the pendulum swings. It was so heavily KC for the majority of this game, but it was because of scraps. It was because of skirmishes, and then when G2 start winning the skirmishes, when they start winning these smaller 2v2, 3v2 fights, it becomes much harder for KC to still control the game. They are still on soul point, RKC. They do still have 3 items on their AD carry. They are still strong. And you have to remember, kyeahoo was not a participant in any of those previous battles. But now G2 have the gold lead. And SkewMond in particular has a stride breaker, an experimental hexplate, and a 3,000 gold advantage on his own shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes harder and harder now. As you say, kyeahoo has really been absent in a lot of these fights. He will try to pick up the actualizer soon, but it's still quite a bit far away. When he gets that item spike, I think he will help a lot with the damage that SkewMond is putting out, and the fact that they need to kill him for the diamond. Now the Tempered Fate comes out into the
I think it's just an ultimate exchange. G2 don't want to go any further, don't know who's behind it, but that's the Crescent Guard used just because of the threat of the Vikings.
And Hansama was in base. He was
Magical Journey over onto Yike. They're going to chase him down. They'll get the stun. The encore too late. Everyone's left the concert already as Caliste tries to step forward and is met by a Timbers. SkewMond chasing kyeahoo. Busio gets his kill across the wall. And Realm War finds you. Only the Underrealms there for kyeahoo as he's taken out. And G2 kill off the enemy jungler, kill off the enemy mid, and now are looking towards that most ultimate of prizes, both in Riftbound and in League, the Baron buff.
But look, they have all these traps set up here. Canna takes a little bit of a peek, tries to see what happens here, because G2 is a little bit low. It's difficult to start this Baron. I think it might just be a base angle for them and then try to do the exact same thing as they did here. Because while Yike is Swedish, the one going to Valhalla today will be SkewMond, as this initial ult trade by them, Yike thinks this is all there was.
Yeah.
Because now they back out into Fog of War, and Yike says, okay, let's clear a little bit of vision, but Labrov's portal just sends the entire team into Yike, and he doesn't have the Crescent Guard, he doesn't have the flash, and the encore is not enough to save his life.
Labrov does go down at the end of this play, but you can see kyeahoo tries to step forward. Caliste and Busio just forced away. You don't have enough CC to really be standing around that locale anymore. G2 do have to call out the Baron. Well played by KC to force that happening. Canna should be able to get out with it between worlds through the arm into the wall. He doesn't have an escape path left. Labrov here, a magical journey into Tempered Fate, catches 2. Hansama puts down a trap and the Seraphine will eat it up. Now Caliste has to try and turn his attention to anyone that he can kill before he goes down. But the answer is null point for the Petit Prince.
And it's complete carnage in the favor of G2. They just turned it on these last 4 minutes. They have been finding pick after pick after pick. And it once again comes down to Baron start. And Yike is there, but Cat says, no sir, you are not getting another Baron steal into your montage today. We will mark you and we will defeat you before you even step foot into the pit. And it will be a nice pickup here for G2 Esports, as we see Canna here getting caught out.
You just assume he can escape. He's got so much mobility, he's an Aurora, but the CC chain is layered well, and then as soon as Caliste and Busio take this and get into the Tempered Fate
by Labrov just buys so much time, allows all of G2 to just move in here and pick up a little bit of freebies. And it just looks so easy when G2 plays the map. I really gotta give them like a lot of praise, because I feel like the way they have been playing the map, not just this game but also game 1, just looks so fluid. They're so aware of everything that needs to happen.
Busio tries to McHale's and flash away, but still Caps there with the follow-up damage from the Disintegrate. The stun landing means that now KC have to play without their talisman.
And they have free grub spending. They might just push for the base here.
They've got the Baron buff as well for the next 4 waves. Ace in the hole, blocked by Yike. Broken Blade pushing in mid, but no one can stand in the way of G2 when they set their eyes on this bot lane tier 3. It will be raised, and G2 raising the intensity of the fight at the top of the table, it seems. They continue to push forward KC. Their Aurora isn't here, just got back from their recall from the top side, and G2 begins to back away. Mikhail takes Caps. Between worlds goes Canna, Caps goes unstoppable, and Canna yo-yos his way back. But he's pinged and he's ponged out in the air by G2. A follow-up from Broken Blade as Caliste is broken up.
Oh my god!
Legolas, how Summer really has the damage now as Caliste tries to step forward. The Flash Cosmic Binding not enough from Labrov, and G2 still with 4 strong. Only the bot lane from KC still stands here to put up a blue wall, but G2, they're sending them crumbling down. A tempered fate comes out, flashed away by Caliste, but the Nexus is bare, and bare are the hopes of KC of going undefeated. G2 rout them in 2 in this best of 3.
What a showing by G2 today. I think SkewMond just woke up and chose violence, and I think it's a repeat of the LEC versus finals, where SkewMond against this KC just looks completely unleashed. His Skarner performance in the game 1, and now his Olaf to boot in this game 2 just carried so much of the burden that was shouldered on to G2.
You can vote for one of those G2 players in your Kia Player of the Series. Vote Broken Blade, SkewMond, or Labrov are your options. I'm going to lay it right up at your feet, lads. It's SkewMond.